Hello and welcome to day 15 of the 20-day countdown to Juneteenth 2020. Today I will be providing some information on our blues history and highlighting several female blues singers. After the Civil War, traveling songsters and minstrel shows spread their music far and wide. Early forms of music that would become the blues began to develop not only on the plantations where former slaves and their descendants now toiled as sharecroppers, but also in towns and cities along the Mississippi and Ohio rivers and elsewhere. The music included jump-ups, which were unrelated line songs over simple chorded accompaniments, ditties, old plantation melodies, breakdowns, up-tempo dance pieces, church songs, and folk hero music. The blues drew from many sources to give voice to an African American identity. The lyrics often expressed a desire to move on to a better place or a better mate. Songs of lost love and mistreatment sometimes had double meanings. Sometimes as coded protest or commentary secretly towards the white boss who was the one who kept his social order. It was often denounced by churchgoers as the devil's music. I remember my grandmother singing that. It may have been born of sorrow and hardship, consigned to the margins of society, yet blues sought not to wallow in pain and misery, but to raise the spirits in an emotional release, often with humor and irony, to get rid of the blues by singing the blues. The blues took hold in Mississippi, Texas, Georgia, Louisiana, Missouri, and the Carolinas, and several other southern states. Waves of migration eventually established Chicago as the blues capital. But in earlier years, it was St. Louis and Memphis where more significant blues centers developed. This is only a small overview. Please take the time to research the blues roots. Now I will provide some highlights on some famous African American female blues singers. Ma Rainey. She was born in 1886 and died in 1939. Ma Rainey is one of the earliest African American professional blues singers and one of the first generation of blues singers to record. She was billed as Ra Maney, Mother of the Blues. She began performing as a teen and became known as Ma Rainey after her marriage to Will Rainey in 1904. Sarah Martin. She was born in 1884 and died in 1955. She was also a famous African American blues singer. She was billed as the famous Moaning Mama. She made many recordings, including a few under the name Margaret Johnson and Sally Roberts. She made hundreds of recordings before she retired. She made over 100. She co-wrote many songs including Mean Tight Mama and Mama's Got the Blues. Retiring to her hometown in Louisville, Kentucky, she managed a nursing home until her death in 1955 at the age of 70. Ida Cox. She was born in 1898 and died in 1967. She was a blues singer and vaudeville performer. She was billed as the uncrowned queen of the blues. She secured a singing contract with Paramount Records. Between 1923 and 1929, she recorded 78 titles for Paramount. She proved herself a savvy businesswoman by her ability to organize and maintain her own troupe. It was called Raising Cain, and it lasted for 10 years. Her songs address female independence, sexual liberation, and the social and political struggles of African Americans, and she did it from a female perspective. Bessie Smith, she was born in 1894 and died in 1937. She also was a blues singer and very popular during the Jazz Age. She was nicknamed the Empress of the Blues. She was the most popular blues singer in the 1920s and 1930s. She was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Her parents died when she was young, and she lived in poverty until she and her brother started working the streets, singing, dancing, and being able to earn money to take care of themselves. I encourage you to research and know more about these icons of African American music history. Please join us for day 16, which will be on important dates in African American history.